join me as I create this Dune bracelet with some RounDuos as well as DiscDuo beads. Gather up your materials, and if you've got your subscription kit box, this one's in there for the month of September. So to begin, I have my DiscDuos, my RounDuos, 11/0s, 3mm bicone, and my clasp. I'm working with a size 8 dragon thread in white and a size 10 needle. I've put a stop bead onto the end of about 5 feet of dragon thread, and then added 3 seed beads, 1 DiscDuo, 3 seed beads, and my 1 bicone. I'm going to take my needle and thread back through those original 3 seed beads as well as through the DiscDuo, going away from the stop bead. Pulling that nice and tight, that's going to be our connection point, and you want to think about these as components. So you always want to think about the fact that you can use them separately as well as together in this bracelet. We're going to bring our thread and needle back into the interior side of that DiscDuo, going from the exterior, the outer hole, to the inner hole. Give a nice tight pull so we don't see a lot of extra thread. And now I want you to add an 11/0 followed by a RounDuo, 11/0, DiscDuo, 11/0, RounDuo, 11/0. We're going to go into the opposite side of the DiscDuo that our thread is currently coming out of, and as we do so, that brings this into a nice little triangular or square design rather. From here, go through the DiscDuo and out through the RounDuo, through the 11/0 rather, and out through the RounDuo. What we're going to do out the RounDuo is we're going to make a little X effect go on top of the piece itself. That X effect, which is going to go along the interior, is going to use a total of 5 beads at first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to go to the opposite RounDuo, and I'm going to go into the opposite side. So my third thread is currently coming out the right side of that RounDuo. I'm going into the left side of the RounDuo that sits opposite. Force those seed beads along the top, give a nice tight pull. Add 1 and 2 more seed beads. Go to the middle of that seed bead collection. So you did 5 beads. We're going to sew through bead number 3 back towards that first RounDuo bead. Again, add 2 more seed beads. And then out through that first hole of the RounDuo bead that our thread was coming out originally. This is going to get that X formation to sit right on the top of our beads. From here, we are going to go back into the next 11/0 and the next DiscDuo. And then we're going to go through the DiscDuo, the second hole, and we're going to do some connection on the outer edge here. Along the outer edge, I want you to pick up some seed beads and crystals as we go through and connect. Coming out the DiscDuo, you're going to put on an 11/0 and then your crystal and then another 11/0 and sew through the second open hole of the RounDuo. Once again, 11, crystal, 11, through that second hole of the DiscDuo. And see how you're getting this design in every corner. Going through, oops, putting this through. And as we come out, we have 1 more to go. Adding this to our last corner. As we add this to the last corner, we're going to go in and decorate the edges a little bit. This will have a little bit of a 3-dimensional side to it. You can see that it puckers up in the middle. That is intentional. We want to keep that. Go through the 11/0, crystal 11/0, coming out the top of the RounDuo bead. We are going to add an additional 4 11/0 seed beads. Once those 4 11/0 seed beads are added, go into the next grouping of 11, crystal 11. We're going to come back through those seed beads that we added originally to attach to our clasp. Those 3 seed beads. Do not go through the stop bead. Go through our crystal 3 seed beads. Again, that's where we're going to attach our clasp to. Go through the seed bead, crystal seed bead along the outer edge. Add your 4 additional 11-0 seed beads to wrap around the exterior of the RounDuo. And now what we're going to do is our connection link from one to the other, adding 1 2 11-0s, 1 of my crystals, 1 2 11-0s, and back through that DiscDuo bead. There you have that whole combination of the piece. From here, I'm going to go back up through the first 2 seed beads and out the crystal that we just added. And we're going to get ready to add our next component. The next component is going to start out with 2 11-0 seed beads, and then your first DiscDuo, and then 2 more of your 11s. Back through that same crystal, pulling it tight towards the middle. The X that we did on the top then will be mimicked basically with the X right there, ending with a crystal. Go back through the 2 seed beads, back through that first hole of the DiscDuo, step up towards the second hole of the DiscDuo, and then we're starting the process over again, adding in an 11-0 RounDuo, 11 DiscDuo, 11 RounDuo, 11, and getting to that first interior X. Once you're done with your units, which I have 8 here, that'll be the average for most of you. Some of you may need 9. We're going to attach our toggle clasp, which is going to match beautifully with our DiscDuos. I have on my 3 seed beads to match the other end, coming out the last one of my bicones here. I'm going to go up through the loop of the toggle bar. I'm going to go through it one more time, going up through the back. That's just going to loop the thread around once. Pull that tight down next to my piece here. Go back through that 1 11-0 right after the toggle bar, or toggle loop rather. We'll do the bar on the other side. And then add 2 more 11-0 seed beads. And I'm going to sew back through that same 3mm bicone and pull. That's going to have our toggle on, and then our bar we'll put on the other side. What we're going to do is we'll reinforce that as we come back through the other side, but right now we're going to get to the outer edge. I do want to show you as you sew up and you get to the outer edge, you do have the option to not add any of the fire polish rounds if you don't want to. You can keep it just as is, and I want to just show it on my wrist so you can see how it looks without the fire polished rounds. To add the fire polished rounds, we're going to bring our thread and needle up to our 3mm and get ready to put in the rounds. So I filled a couple in on the sides here so you can see how they look. And basically after coming out through the 2mm or the 3mm crystal, you go through the 11-0, through your RounDuo, the second hole. Then we're going through the 11 and the crystal and out. Once you're through the 11 and the crystal and out, you're going to do your 11-0 seed bead, your Czech glass 11-0 seed bead, and then over to the next 3mm bicone, through the 3mm bicone and the 11-0 first, like that. I try to get them at the same time so it's easier. Through your RounDuo, and then once you're at your RounDuo, through the 11, through the crystal, and out. And we're just going to continue on adding in those extra Czech glass in between. When we get down here, we're going to add our toggle bar and then come back down the other side. Getting to the toggle bar side, I did my 3 seed beads, looped around the toggle bar twice, coming down through that last 11-0 seed bead, making sure the thread doesn't go around the toggle bar. That's a regular occurrence. Give a nice tight pull, add 2 more 11-0 seed beads, move that stop bead kind of back and out of the way. And because we're not coming back down the project, we're going to reinforce at this time, and then we'll tie off that starter thread to the thread we're currently working on. Go up through those 3 seed beads you added, up through the 11-0 seed bead, up through the toggle bar, wrap around the top, back through the seed beads, and back down through the 11s on the side. When you come out the 11s on the opposite side, go ahead and remove that stop bead. tie these two thread ends together. Right over left, left over right. And then we'll proceed down the second side, adding in our fire polished rounds. The thread and needle that are attached are going to go through the crystal, pulling that loop towards the clasp, giving a nice tight pull on either side. I'll burn down that thread end after, and then you're just going to simply take your needle and thread back through the project, around the toggle bar, and down towards the other side, going through, again, your crystal, your 11-0, through the RounDuo, out through the 11, and then the crystal, and add in your fire polished along the sides. So once you're done one side, you're flipping over here. You're doing the exact same thing now, coming down the opposite side to even it out. Here at the end then, we've gone up through the task. You can see those little bumps and sand dunes there on the side as your X's come towards the top, and how nice it looks on the wrist, having those two kind of levels of beading when you're looking at it. Here at the end, after reinforcing and going back through the toggle bar, which is what I did, we're going to get rid of our thread and needles. Come down into the project, and I like to come down a little bit further than the clasp because that way you don't see a lot of extra thread showing. I'm going to go out after the 2 seed beads after that crystal, and I'm going to go through the DiscDuo. You can see I'm at the back of the project. The X's are to the front. Kind of wiggle myself through that DiscDuo. And then I'm going to sew underneath the bridge thread, which is the thread that attaches one side of the project to the other. Going back up through, so I didn't sew through any beads, just underneath the thread. Looping through the loop I just made once, looping through the loop I just made twice for a nice sewer's knot. Give a nice tight pull. And then we're simply going to go behind here, burn down the thread edge, and it right to the clasp. I'm going to go back to that starter thread then that we tied off. I'm going to do the same thing here, burning it down and then down towards the project to finish off this beautiful Dune bracelet. Thanks so much for joining me in this Dune bracelet. Remember, if you want to do the bracelet and you want to check out the subscription, you can always do so by going down below the video here, checking out the link, and we'll put info to get back to our site. You can grab a subscription box for 1 month. You can sign up for multiple months and get all of these projects included. Remember, as always, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for joining, and stay tuned for more inspirational videos.